like, so the classes you took at CRW, going back to that, you had triple feed for your rifle, the broken carbine, and then what was your other one you didn't show up to?
The other one was put me on the spot there. The low light pistol.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The one he actually probably could have used the most.
Yeah,
the one that actually like
He works great
benefited the
shift.
most. Yeah.
I work graveyard
Works
shift
at
and
night.
only use a
Hey,
handgun.
actually, we should take that. I would like to take that again. We should take it.
Yeah, I should take that for the first time.
That was a very
Yeah,
educational.
don't worry. I'll put on my own, and you can come to that one.
We got a standby
brother.
ace in the building, folks. He's shitting up a storm over there.
Standby ace.
His mother's on the ones and twos, and she's having a hard time holding it together.
All right, well, Tony, bring us in, dude. Bring us in.
All right, guys. Well, welcome back to Standby. I'm Tony. I got Jay next to me, Phil, and Mr. Chris.
Hola.
Today, we're going to be going over training, more specifically, how I like to call it, the difference between tactical training and competition training or performance style training. Justin, you had you thought it would be broken down into 3 different pieces. So give me the 3 what you think.
Yeah, somewhat. I guess off the top of my head. I mean, whatever. From my top of the head, it'd be like, all right, if we're going to talk about training,
Right.
competition, it's not really training, right? You have trained to get to that competition.
Sure.
So competition style training, whatever, match shooting.
Yeah.
You're training to get there. Then there's what you'd said, tactical training.
Yeah.
Which you lumped in was like what, room clearing, battle drills, bounding,
Shoot, move, communicate.
like a little more dynamic. I would say more dynamic stuff. And then I put the third one in there as like static, because I don't think we could lump static training into tactical, because there's just dudes out there that want to be accurate, like accuracy shooting. That doesn't mean they're tactical. They could probably, like Western shooters, they have nothing to do in the tactical side. They just want to put their little revolver on the paper and get right in the 10 ring, and that's it. That's what I think. I don't know.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
I think that the competitive shooting.
Okay, no one cares. Anyways, what do you think?
Nice. Hey, by the way, Chris, nice sweatshirt, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Likewise.
You right? You know what I mean? Where'd you
Yeah.
get that?
Jay hooked it up.
Jay.
It's about time you wear it once in a while. You don't wear any content anywhere.
One.
I wore it the last episode.
Didn't wear it to CRW.
The only reason he wears it works because he freaking runs out of hats. He
I wore
loses
my
them all.
I wore my
Yeah.
shirt at CRW.
Wore it at work.
Anyways, so because I think differently than him, so I want to know what you guys think before I get into it.
Apparently not.
As soon as I
So-
start, I'm going off.
So my opinion on the like the flat range stuff,
Yeah.
I think it complements both, because you're doing a lot of reloads and stuff like that. It works for both, right? You're reloading, you're working on your draw, your grip, all that stuff. Yeah, it's flat, but I think it works for the tactical side and then the competition side as well. And I think they all kind of complement each other, and I think you could benefit from doing each one. Because if you do competition stuff, those guys, I never done that shit, so you can speak to this more, but like they're running, reloading, doing like real quick stuff. It's more cerebral. Like shoot, move, communicate, I'm up, he sees me, I'm down, or,
I love that one.
yeah, moving, like the whole
Shows your
thing.
hairline.
I'm always down.
It's gonna break my heart. God damn, dude.
Your self-esteem or
No, I agree. I think they all complement each other as well. I think that the static stuff is like getting the fundamentals. I think that's really crucial to get the fundamentals. Obviously, I think the moving up would be the competitive, because you're getting that muscle memory, right? I've seen you do some shit at speeds that personally blow my mind. May not be impressive to some folks that are also in competitive shooting, but as a non-competitive shooter,
Jerry Mitchell.
it's very
Jerry.
But like, if you can get to your mags fast, knowing what you're wearing, you're defeating fabric, stuff like that. Who's to say that in a more dynamic SMC shootout where you're not gonna forget it, because you don't have time to think about that, right, Jay? Like if you
Right.
you don't have time to be like, oh shit, I have a sweatshirt or I have my jacket over my thing. But you practice competitively to get to it. So I think that probably more so than static shooting complements dynamic shooting, if that's what we were calling it, dynamic.
Sure. So for static shooting, I still think static shooting is not its own entity, for the reason being is you can shoot statically and focus on performance or a competition style shooting, which is basically what competition is performance. That's where I would base it. Or you can look at it as a tactical side of things. A great example is just some basic drills. So one of the drills that used for competition, like a competition or performance style shooting, would be the fast drill. So it's I forgot who created it. I'm an asshole for forgetting, but currently I think Langdon is the one who's running it. He's the one who basically has the paperwork to actually do it, from my understanding. But basically it's 4 to the body, mag change, 2 to the head, and if you can actually go onto the website and print out the actual setup, the target itself, and it's because it has its the measurements of what they want you to use for it, and I think it's at 7 yards, and the timestamp is 5 seconds.
Sure.
So it's a pure objective shooting piece of it, right? It's all objective on trying to meet a standard, as opposed to go into the Mozambique drill. Right, Mozambique drill is that's where I come with the tactical aspect. Mozambique is 2 to the body, 1 to the head. The whole concept for it was you put 2 rounds to the assailant's body. This is how it's explained of why this drill was created.
Right.
You put 2 rounds to the body.
There's armor.
There's armor. He's on PCP. Whatever you want. Whatever scenario you want to come up with.
He's on
2 rounds. 2 rounds to the chest did not put him down. So you have to put your assailant down or your attacker down, however you want to call it.
Sure.
And you put one round to the head, and you had to put it usually in a box of some sort because you're trying to hit the light switch, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's the whole concept of that one. So that's where I can see and most people don't put time stamps on that thing. What time really only does is just shows you your performance side, shows your proficiency. And how fast you can do it.
I think it adds stress too.
It will add
People are
stress
trying
for
to
sure.
go for the time.
Just to clarify, sorry. So with that specific last drill, the Mozambique drill, that's would you classify that under the competitive, or you keeping that where you keep
that's a tactical one. That's a tactical
dynamic
training.
Yeah, it's static, not static.
Well, the thing, you don't have to move. It's 0 movement.
Sure.
You can add movement to it, right? You can easily add movement to it. Retreating, stepping offline, a mag change in there because there's whatever tactical minds you do. The end goal is you shot to the head, not because you're trying to get a performance aspect out of it. It's the concept of the person did not go down. Like that's what it was designed for. The person didn't go down, so then you had to put 1 more to the head.
Sure, defeating.
And people have put like timestamps on it to make it a performance style drill because it easily can be.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's not what it was designed for. So it's shit like that. That's where I don't think like the static. Just because you're static doesn't mean you're not in a. And maybe think of it more of mindset than anything else.
Well, the reason I say static is also like think about the hunters, right? They're not like think of a downhill like guy in the middle of Kansas. All he does is shoot deer, right?
That's plinking. But that's like plinking.
Yeah, well, he's static. He's not going anywhere. He's just sitting at a bench. He's content.
I don't even think
he's sitting up in his blind.
Put his rifle up, wants to shoot a deer, and that's it.
I hear what you're saying.
But that's not a training.
Yeah, that's a sport.
I'm not saying he's trained, but when he goes to the range and zeroes his rifle, he's still like static shooting from a fixed position.
Right.
I wouldn't put him in a tactical or tactical.
But I guess the way I look at it is like the training aspect of it. Like you're shooting to shoot. Like you're either plinking or maybe you're zeroing. Right. Neither one of those are training aspect. Or maybe you're testing out your training. Not really. You're zeroing.
He's checking his zero on every rifle. Or
what about
like hunting? Like hunters, they got to go out there and fucking.
What do you think
check all their shit?
I think that there's different types of shooting and all certain activities.
If you want to go into the different parts, like outside of the training, like you have your training aspects, then you have your maintenance shooting. So making sure. So for example, would be like if a lot of hunters or even high level USPSA shooters, like sports shooters, they make their own rounds, but but they have to test those rounds out to see how they cycle. Because if you're running an open gun, you have to have higher pressure because of all the porting and the compensation and all that stuff. Yeah. So you have to run stuff hotter, right? But then you have those kind of pieces. Or some guys run things softer, so it shoots. They load a heavier round with softer ammo. So like. Sure. So they have all these different reasons of why you would run this, right? Yeah. But that's like a maintenance thing that has nothing to do with training.
And that was just one example.
I think that's where stuff like where those other pieces you're talking about really come in. It has nothing really to do with training. They're not training.
I say when I look at when we're driving up to whatever range we're going to, Burr or whatever, right? 90% dude just fucking PVC pipe and they're just sitting at a bench.
Yeah, they're plinking. They're not training.
They're just blasting.
There's no training aspect of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not practicing.
Just burning a hole in their fucking wall.
If you're gonna throw,
they just want to shoot the gun. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the same concept.
It's America.
It's the same concept as just taking your off-road vehicle or your sports car and just going out and driving.
I am
You're going
truck
out there
driver.
and you're doing stuff, but you're
I am
not.
Robbie
You're right.
Gordon.
You're not practicing.
Sure.
Right?
I am Ricky.
No, I agree. I
am
think every one of those aspects kind of meshes in with the other.
That's all.
You know what I mean? Because even with static shooting, you could be simply sitting there propped up on a bipod or whatever.
Yeah.
You could be working trigger discipline. You could be working on a rifle.
I mean, you can easily
long range.
Long range has its own training.
Yeah.
because you have to be able to understand your dope.
Sure.
You understand how to read the wind,
dope.
reading all these different.
Is that in your tactical category?
No, I wouldn't. I would call that honestly.
that a whole nother
That
thing?
may be a whole nother piece.
Dude, yeah.
Hold on, another piece.
Long
long
range.
range.
But
shooting.
that's a long range shooting. Like that has almost, I would say, very little equivalence between the two because
Yeah.
if I walk out onto a range right now, and we all go out on the range with our handguns and pistols and rifles and stuff, I can go, hey, you're going to be doing a little more scenarios training. You and I are going to be doing more performance, and you're going to jump in, kind of bounce back and forth between performance and scenario tactical style training, right?
Yeah.
So, and we can all sit there online and run next to each other, running drills, and all be able to work
True.
with each other
True.
in some aspect. Long range, I can't be like, hey, you're gonna work on this and work on this, and it's like, no, it's just long range. I can't do my pistol rifle work while you're doing long range because there's no equivalency.
Yeah.
So
You're not
I
gonna
think
get
that's
anything.
I think that's why I kind of look at it more of like
I'd put it in a different way.
try and say like these two, this is where the difference would be and like
Yeah.
why you'd want to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like both have, anyone can do performance style training and benefit. Doesn't matter if you're military, if you're law enforcement, what you can, but not everyone can truly benefit from the tactical side.
No.
Like it's great knowledge to have, but the likelihood of me or you
Yeah.
clearing a building, unless we get onto a solid EP
Sure.
team, like there's a very small
even
chance
then-
we're going to be clearing rooms.
Even then, in our world, with EP or any PSDs, you're not there to fight that fight. You're
No,
there
not really.
to egress and get the fuck out
Yeah.
of Dodge, and that's it.
Well, I mean, that's where the
Take a
room,
bullet.
but that's where the room
Yeah.
clearing would come from. Is if you have to if you're, let's say, in the back of the house,
Yeah.
and you have to get out, like you're gonna have the room clear.
Yeah.
But that's really the only piece of it.
Yeah, till you get that egress.
Yeah, and then you're
complete.
out. You're not. So it's like doing certain tactical drills. Like, do I know how to clear a house? For the most part, on a very high level, not super intricate.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I run nods? Can I do all of these pieces where
Right.
you would only find them used on a more tactical mindset? Yeah, I know how to do a lot of those pieces, but it's going to be borderline useless.
Yeah, well something that, and it's actually fucking pretty funny because you have what's his face, Clint from Thunder Ranch has a pretty famous quote that my boss uses. He's like, "What?" Because I brought some of the shit that you what?
I just spilled all over.
Oh, that's crazy. He started looking at
Better
me.
watch out. Well, I'm just looking at Chris. He's a big supporter of Thunder Ranch.
Clint's a good guy. But my boss, he's an older gentleman.
Marines.
He's coming up.
dare
he's
you.
coming up in his 60s. But
Just waiting for him
like,
to knock you out. He'd say
I
something.
think
wrong.
he's like 72.
like just talking like, damn man. But I would bring like some stuff that obviously I'm learning from you guys when we go out to, like I'm disseminating information now. So obviously that gets convoluted and watered down, but it's something. Bring something to the table, and he just looks at me and he's, "What makes you think you're fighting with your gear, with your gun?" And he brought that up, and he's like, "We're meat shields with magazines. We're not there to fight the fight. We're there to get it out and stuff like that." So I think like long range kind of falls into that too, because everything you do long range is extrapolated. If you're off by an inch, where you're at, where your round's going, that could fucking very well be the matter of feet or even yards. You could fuck up completely. So like, I don't know. I think shooting is definitely long range is definitely in its own category. For that
It's
reason.
completely separate.
Because if you're off by a fucking half an inch at where you're shooting from, and you're shooting 500, 800, you could be off by a couple inches down
See,
there.
I mean, even from like, you want to talk about the long range stuff, like that can be bounced. You're going to learn the same exact information, long range or long range, doing tactical work or doing sports work. You're going to learn the same stuff. You're going to learn you have to learn how to read dope. You have to understand your rifle and what it's doing. You have to understand how to breathe properly, how to pull your trigger pulls, all these different pieces. Nothing's going to change between that. The only difference you may run into is like, hey, when you're running a tactical aspect of it, like if you're in a room, don't stick your barrel out the fucking window, right? That may be the only big like major difference between two. But as far as the overall shooting training aspect, like understanding long range shooting, all of that plays this exact same thing in a tactical mindset or competitive. But on a handgun or rifle, like people are you're gonna treat that so much different.
Yeah.
And I mean, going back to the actual movement aspect, the fuck is that?
Damn, we on Willowbrook, dude?
We're in the hood, dude. We're in the hood. Can't afford to do in the
pumping.
We're going back to that aspect.
Yeah, like
afford a good
trying
studio.
to clear a room tactically. Like you have a certain piece in place so you don't get but your shit blown off. But if in a competition world, you're going around a wall, you're trying to get the gun as fast as possible.
Yeah, it's pre-briefed as well. There's no variables.
You get to see everything. You're just trying to move in as fast as possible.
It's not always going to be pre-briefed, Mark. The other thing too, I think it all just comes down to like, what are you expecting to get into? If you're just a homeowner that lives in kind of a maybe you own a property or business owner in a bad area and you're just trying to defend your property, that you could very well dip out of, like maybe dip in a little bit of performance, maybe a little bit of tactical, but you got to hang out more static.
It's all gonna be performance.
But like guys like us, like we got pretty good understanding of everything on all those, especially you. So if something did happen, we could pick something else up and have a pretty good understanding. Like, oh, this guy dropped NVGs, the lights went out. I just fucking smoked this guy trying to get to the mark. Like, I'm gonna pick those up and use that in our advantage because now I just took it off somebody else. Like, we could use a little bit of
What is happening at your house that you're
I'm saying for work, dude.
Red
Jesus.
Dawn, dude. It's the Red Dawn.
Resupply.
Yeah.
You know,
China balloon is overhead.
Or if there's like,
Phil's on top of his roof getting ready, dude.
Wolverines.
Boog time.
no, it's true though.
Rooftop white man. This is the new thing.
It's true. Like, there's been jobs where like they do any PSD like yesterday, cops like fucking brief you on some of their gear. Secret Service briefing some gear. Hey, if we go down, this is what this is, and da da da. Don't touch this. You can touch this. This is how you would touch it.
Like, bitch, you went down. Don't tell me what I can touch.
It's
You're
like,
dead.
You lost that fucking opportunity.
You get the point I'm trying to make? Like, you can tap into certain things depending on what
I
you're
get it. I
expecting
get
to
what you're saying. I don't know. I don't even look at it that. I just look at it more just, I don't know. Like I said, it the way you kind of go about your training. Like for me, like I'm very like I'm willing to go, hey, I'll pick up my speed a little bit more to be less accurate, right? Because I'm going on a competition, going at a time where like you don't really have that luxury in a tactical mindset to a certain extent.
Sure.
Right? Like I'm like if you're gonna go, hey, you want to try and keep it as tight as possible, but it's like you also have guys go. I think the latter I was about to say was more for tactical shooters who can't fucking shoot. The whole concept of like, as long as it's on the body, it's battle effective. It's like, no, that's not accurate.
And what's behind it? Like, you have
that's
so
not
much
fucking
shit.
accurate.
Yeah.
But it's like, with competition, like if I do a competition in 10 seconds while everyone else does it in, 13 to 15 seconds, I can afford to throw a couple like Charlies, right, on the target, and while everyone else has to hit all alphas in order to beat me the overall because of my time is so much lower.
Sure.
So it's like that shit like that, but you can't really always have that in a tactical.
It's a
mindset.
double-edged sword. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird. But
I don't know. I think, like, what do you guys, for your guys' job, what are you guys training without selling the ship, obviously? Like, are you guys all center mass all the time? Are you guys, when you're doing, like, handguns, like, taking somebody with a handgun, are you guys always shooting center mass? Do you do, like, Mozambique
hostage
drills?
stuff?
Like, do you have shot placement stuff? Or are they always like, hey, you're getting a shooting, you want to hit them here? Like, what do they brief you guys on when you guys are training that, the department?
Yeah, we're not taught like the Mozambique and stuff like that. We don't go over that.
Are you always all center mass, like just hit them up?
Yes, we do.
yes,
Might have been a while for you, but
Here we go.
no,
I mean, it's been a while since he's.
It's nothing against him.
been
It's
in the
just he hasn't
academy,
been in trouble. I've been in trouble, and I've had to go to. When you get in trouble, you got to go to training.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I've just been to a lot of training. But
No, I'm talking about like academy.
yeah, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, the academy's been a while for you, but they do teach us like stuff to shoot in the head, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
And they show us like, hey, if you're grabbing a shotgun buckshot, it's pretty effective to a certain amount of yards. I'm not going to disclose it, but you could take a headshot with a shotgun with buckshot at a certain range, and they teach you that.
Oh yeah, they teach you. It's still pretty tight.
Yeah.
At a certain range. Yeah.
And then the same thing for we do a hostage room clearing scenario. I don't know if you remember that too, but it's a solo man.
Oof.
You remember that?
Solo works.
Yeah, you don't have to sell the ship. I was just saying, like,
Yeah.
you guys do different dynamic stuff. You're
Yeah.
not just shooting a
Do you-
fucking black silhouette target all the time.
Why is it gonna be black?
Well, I'm saying because it's a white paper.
Here
Here we go, dude. It's always
Couldn't even
can't
avoid
even
it,
fucking
dude.
finish the thought.
Did
Dude.
you say a silhouette, a shooting target? Okay, anyway.
Why is that the
What's a
target?
black silhouette target? Is what they call it.
Wow. Here we go. Again?
I know what you're talking about.
I've seen a silhouette. That's it, dude.
That's all I see. is
Silhouettes typically
all I
are
see
from
is-
a light source.
Sorry about that, sir. He's getting out of pocket.
Great.
This must
It's all
be
good, Phil. I know what you mean.
So,
Thanks, man.
do you guys do? So you've done
Fucking
the
insane.
marksman stuff. You're able to run. Different guns. You've run your red dot course with department. So, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this for military. But like, do you guys do performance training at the department?
No.
No. Like, hey, like, start speeding up your stuff to know like to push limits to move on to the next piece of it, like kind of thing. Like, no.
There's time limits, but it's not like on your level. Like it's not like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Not like performance type shit.
So do
It's
you guys
nothing
do-
like a class, like when you go to a class, like
Well, you've done like quote unquote classes.
yeah, but it's not. They're like the classes are more advanced than what they teach you. Like, all right, let's say you get after the academy,
Right.
and then you go back to another class because every 2 years or whatever you have to go shoot. You take a class or whatever at the range, right? It's not as advanced as a civilian class.
yeah.
There is drills and there is competitions, but they're like low level because you got to think of the masses of people. 99% of deputies aren't shooters.
Right.
Yeah.
99% of cops aren't shooters. They just take reports or they do whatever they do, but not everyone's into gear, not everyone's into guns. You don't have to be, that's fine. But civilians argue that, well, it's your profession that you gotta, I don't know, be a very John Wick shoot and fucking shoot the gun out of a hand at fucking 200 yards.
Yeah.
But no, we don't get a lot of training.
So, well, I know that, but I'm talking about because I know you've done more classes. Like you've went in for them, like personally, like you've taken time out of your own personal time to do these. Like it's not like none of a lot of the trainings you've gotten through the department were non-mandatory. They were optional that you took advantage of. For one reason or the other, but one couple of reasons being you can carry certain handguns, but it's still an optional, right?
Sure.
It's still an optional class.
Yeah.
So, so with that being said, like, so if you don't see a lot of, like, if it's at least not with you guys, it happening where you're able to do performance style training, do you find it either maybe necessary is the wrong word, but do you think it's I guess do you think it's necessary for civilians to be taking quote unquote tactical classes, or do you find it kind of a waste that it's being done? It should be focused more on the.
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think it's a waste.
I don't think
Fundamentals.
civilians should own body armor or guns or anything.
yeah,
I think
I
civilians
guess-
should just completely trust the police.
Let's go ahead and
Democrat.
Listen, you
Full
can
metal
let's go ahead and
jacket.
start. Restart this.
Yeah.
Full metal jacket.
Devil's advocate. What do you think about?
Listen,
that?
police aren't even JV. From the great words of Mike Lover. Police aren't even
Yeah.
JV.
I was
dude.
waiting for that one, dude.
dude.
Yes.
They're not even JV apparently.
Not even JV.
They need.
dude.
They need,
gotta get-
They
No,
need
but-
American jiu-jitsu through him.
But
Dude.
yeah.
I gotta fucking hold that thought right there. We gotta get as many cops in this room to say fuck everything that guy said and just start a trend. Because
I hope 90% of cops aren't like looking at this guy and be like, I guess I'll go fuck myself. I guess I'm not even. I
Also,
guess,
look at a
I guess I'm a
picture,
freshman compared to you. Like,
he's got a gut on him. now.
he's comparing fucking apples to oranges. He's
Yeah.
to get
Different
off on
job,
to get off
dude.
on a tangent. Anyways, it's apples to oranges for him. But yes, I think civilians should train, own body armor, guns, and be 100% proficient as guys who are in the military. 100%. Why not?
Yeah.
And dude, it's like a hobby like anything else. It's like off-roading. It's like
And it makes it safer. If you think about it, you have a fundamental
100%.
understanding and you're into it and interested, you're going to treat it a lot more
I'm all
severity.
for it. Don't
Yeah.
don't misunderstand. Like I'm all for
I know
it.
you're
I've done
against it, but
I've-
it's cool.
How dare you?
Axiom Training Group, we're against your rights.
Yeah. We don't support the Second Amendment.
we love the ATF.
But yeah.
Like, yeah.
There's been a couple of times where I do come into contact with, righteous Second Amendment owners. They have CCWs or, they're whatever, shooting their guns in the middle of the desert where they're not supposed to. It's just a quick education like, hey, this isn't me. This is the lawmakers. We're just the law enforcers.
Yeah.
And we all, as law enforcement, we have spirit of the law and letter of the law. Well, in that instance, we'll exercise spirit of the law. We just educate you. Probably should carry it like this. But people hate us and people, whatever it is, but that's the lawmakers. It's not us.
So
I don't know if that answers it.
So is this something you'd want? I mean, because we haven't done too much like classroom training. We've done a little bit, you and I. But and I know you've done some other guys, but like, so the classes you took at CRW, going back to that, you had triple feed for your rifle, the broken carbine, and then what was your other one you didn't show up to?
The other one was put me on the spot there, dude. The low light pistol.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The one he actually probably could have used the most.
Yeah, that
the
probably
one that
would've
actually
been
like
He works
a good
great
class.
at
benefited the
shift.
most. Yeah.
I work graveyard
Works
shift
at
and
night.
only use a
Hey,
handgun.
actually, we should take that. I would like to take that again. We should take it.
Yeah, I should take that for the first time.
That was a very
Yeah,
educational.
don't worry. I'll put on my own, and you can come to that one.
Thank
Nah, he
you.
won't show up.
Yeah. I'm busy, dude.
Hey, I'm showing up to that
we do
shotgun
it.
class.
Can we do it when it's a little bit warmer at night, please?
Sleep peacefully.
I'm probably gonna do it probably in May.
Sign me up.
May is when I'll probably start my low light courses.
Put me on.
But I'm just wondering, like, for the training that you have gotten, obviously, mostly done, as you said, you guys done more scenario based, which falls into the line of tactical shooting.
Yeah.
In my case, so would you find that you personally would gain benefit from doing performance shooting?
Yes.
Yeah?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, just remember when we went.
So why haven't you?
That's
Did you ask him a question, or are you
excuse,
going to
sir.
berate him? Which one?
Well,
is
no,
it?
that's a different. That's a complex answer because it's overtime. It's
You
a
gotta
bunch
let
of
me-
other stuff. It's drive time. It's overtime. It's
honestly mainly is the
Politics.
overtime, dude.
Yeah.
Like they make us work so much fucking overtime, and then I got to spend time with my kid, and it's like, I need to fit in training, so I got to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why this year when we did the New Year's video, that's part of the plan. Squeeze in more training wherever I can.
Yeah.
But I think I had 100% benefit from it. It's good stuff.
I mean, it's like I've seen so many guys get like they're just overall better,
Yeah.
by doing performance. Because like you can have all sorts of great tactical aspect. If you can't shoot your fucking gun, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, why are you going into a building if you can't even shoot who you're fucking shooting at?
It's hand in hand.
You know?
That's the way I
well, what do they say about like I don't know actual statistics on most shootings that police officers get in? It's like less than 10 yards.
Yeah.
It's like way less than 10 yards. I think it's like 5 or
Is that
7.
the case? Damn.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Holy
it's 3 to 5 yards.
It's like right there. So you don't even have to. You don't even aim. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, that's the thing though. Is like people think you don't have to aim, but at a certain, you still have to have a basic understanding of how your gun operates. Like, I
Yeah,
can like
that's all they deliver in the academy. It's the basic understanding. Like
Super
you'll
basic.
have guys that show up there that have never even touched
Right,
or
but-
seen a gun.
But my point is like I can sit here, draw, come down on him, never look at my sight, and just know exactly because I've
Yeah, it's muscle
built
memory.
muscle memory into
Why
doing
not
this.
me? Why him?
Because
He's black?
like- yeah, because exactly.
Whoa.
That's exactly
See,
right.
dude.
Oh, we're about
took a
equal
left turn,
opportunities here.
hard left
Stand by.
right there.
Equal opportunities here. Stand by.
Oh, wow.
I kill
Oh, I
everyone.
had the pecking order. I don't know. You better watch out, dude.
Damn, bro, that fucking.
He might let you go, dude.
That didn't hit.
I'd let Rubio go before I let you go.
That's my
Thank
man.
you. Thank
Hey,
you, sir.
Fuck you.
Wow, it's great.
No, but you're saying you could punch out.
But I can punch out and do that, and I feel like that comes from a performance aspect. Like I can sit here and not look inside. I can shoot 6 rounds on the way up, and worst case scenario, I'm hitting no farther out than like your outside pecs.
See,
Outside,
I think
I'm
that's
not
where
shooting any further out than that.
that's where I have my problem with the training and the. I would say like people that train a lot, and it's no offense to you that train a lot that say like, yes, I could fucking do it. Because it's a different world when it's like the shit hits the fan and your adrenaline's dumping, when it's like, oh fuck, this guy's actually shooting in front of me, or this guy with a knife, or this crazy person. Like it's
agree
a
with that.
different stress that hits you, or adrenaline dump mindset, whatever.
Yeah, I
whatever's
agree.
going on in the
I would-
brain.
I would agree with
you
that.
know what I'm saying? So it's like,
But
yeah,
imagine that same dump on someone
who
who
hasn't
has
trained.
very
Yeah.
little training.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna have.
Yeah.
If worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I'm going to be at the same level as they are, who's been like inoculated to that stress
Sure.
because they've gone into so many of them. But they're training so much lower. I will probably be
100%.
about the same level as they are because my training's so high. But I'm
gonna say,
not.
probably save
I'm
you.
not
Yeah.
inoculated to that stress. I agree with that.
Yeah, 100%,
If I
yeah.
get into a shoot,
You'll be better 100%,
I'm going
no
to be
doubt.
absolutely losing my mind. Like if I ever get into a real shooting, like 240 beats a minute.
Yeah.
like, guaranteed. That's what I'm gonna be running for a heartbeat.
but your training. would probably
But my
save you.
training's going to be able to help offset that,
Yeah.
not get into a fucking gunfight every other.
You're not going to freeze
or going
up.
hands on. Yeah.
But then you
like-
never know. You might be that stud at the mall taking a 40-yard shot with a fucking iron sight.
All right.
8 out of
Dialing
10,
8
dude.
rounds, 8 out of 10.
8 out of
You
10,
could.
dude.
You never know. You might rise to the occasion.
So that's all I really mean. It's just like that. And so it's like if you could imagine like being at my level of training and having that at least the wherewithal to be able to keep yourself composed in that high stress situation.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. You're just going to be that. I mean, you're going to be a
you're more
star.
prepared.
You're going to be a star. You're going to be doing exactly what you need to do, and you'll never have to worry about collateral damage because all of these extra pieces came into play for you. Yeah. That's all it really
Makes
means.
sense.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, so it's just shit like that. I don't know. What do you guys got?
I think one of the.
I was waiting for Chris to respond.
Chris has nothing to say.
I wanted Chris to bring up a topic.
He wants to circle back to the Glover incident.
Well, that's got to be circled back. Huh?
He's a big fan of Circle Back.
Just to piggyback off of what Tony said, I just think
It went right over his head.
hearing his. Yeah, it did go over my head. I don't know what you're saying. I'm not even gonna try and decipher that.
Anyways, I don't know what he just said, so let's talk about.
No, but I think it's crazy to hear like the different, like basically grotesque training some people get. Like they just like, here's the basics.
Yeah.
Go do 40 years at a law enforcement agency. And you, by the way, you're only mandated to retest department standards every 2 years.
I mean, now granted, I agree with that, but I think Justin and I had a conversation about that a while back. It's like the things that you also have to understand is like they're short set. These guys are working double shifts on a regular basis, not like once a month, once every couple weeks, not even like once a week. Like it's multiple times a week sometimes. Is working double shifts.
Fair.
So that just goes to show like how understaffed they are. And obviously that has a lot to do with politics. A lot of the bullshit that's in play, a lot of the shit that's going on. People don't want to be a cop. People don't want to deal with that shit. And I don't fucking blame them. I don't want to be a cop anymore. I used to.
Phil does.
And then after the bullshit, I'm like, nah, this is fucking stupid. Like, why would I put myself in line for people who literally hate me?
It's based.
It's fucking dumb.
That's a base comment.
But because of that, like you don't have the people, so they don't have the people. You can't take more people off the street to go train, and you can't expect him to go, okay, he just came off of back-to-back 16-hour shifts. Hey, do me a favor, go get this training that you need to get done. He's like, go fuck yourselves. I'm tired of shit. I gotta be back at shift tonight.
Yeah.
You know, and then when he's done there, then he has a couple days off where he wants to do family time. You know, with you want to do family time with a wife, with with
Have a
parents,
life.
whatever,
Yeah,
whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah,
and it's
right.
like, and I got to take another 8-hour day minimum, like to be able to go do more time. It's like, and then you got to go back on the shift. That's tough. That's a tough thing to just pull people off.
That's true.
But
there is good training where I'll be like, all right, yeah, that's pretty fair. Like active shooter training that we go through. That guy hit me up like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, good dude, man. That's some good shit. That active shooter one.
Yeah, they have good actors. Like like for us, the department when they put on training, like scenario training, they go all out pretty well. Smokes, sim rounds, blanks, bangs, smoke. I already said smoke.
yeah, but actually,
Canine, all kinds of crazy stuff.
probably working at like an actual building too.
Actual building in the middle of nowhere or a school or something cool, crazy. But they make it pretty dynamic and they try and make it as stressful as they can. But there's only so much you could do to make it stressful. It's like it's hard to take. Let's say Let's say you worked at a really fast paced city where there's a lot of crime. And you take a first year guy and a 10-year guy. You take those guys that work the same fast pace. You put them in a scenario. It's like they're gonna somewhat excel because they kind of do it all the time.
Yeah.
Versus you go to maybe a slower department, maybe in the middle of nowhere that doesn't handle as much stuff as the regular guys do in Los Angeles. They might not. I don't want to say like get to that point. I don't know. What would you say?
I'd say
it's just not enough reps.
Underperformed.
It's not enough reps.
Yeah, underperformed, not enough reps, and then that's when they make the news or whatever. But I'm sure the department they try and put the scenarios as much as they can for their officers or whatever. But
yeah.
But you also have budgets. You have budgets. You have to be concerned about like what you can or can't do, and then on top of the budgets, you have to be worrying about how it's gonna come across to your local city, your local ordinance, all these different things. It's like, all of a sudden, like West Covina decided they want to, they're a smaller city and smaller department, but all of a sudden they want to start getting all of their officers riot shields and all of their officers, level 4 body, plate carriers and having them running all these things. And then people go, oh, well, why,
military.
Are they military in the police? What's going on? It's like, no, we're making sure in case anything happens, we can be prepared for whatever that is. Yeah. And it needs to be across the board because you can't just
have cops
Justin's the only one who knows how to do this and he's off shift and then something, an active shooter kicks off. Right. And now
Chris steps out.
He's got to come in his flip flops. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's like, but because you do it that way, like you have to do it across the board. And that's where the whole, like, it can be considered as militarized. But that's not the case. It's like you're
Right.
doing it for. I mean, if you want to look at it from a cynical point of view, can it be seen as doing it? I guess, but if that's really what you feel, you have a lot of distrust. Like, I get distrust in the government, but you also have to remember there are people who we have two of them sitting here who are not. They're not. They see themselves to help the community. They're not helping. They're not looking to help the government. They're looking to help their communities that they've grown up in, that they've been around. You know, it's a different mentality, and I think that's what kind of pisses me off about that shit too.
I think we all stand on that one.
But then but once again, then it brings it down to guys not wanting to train. Guys are afraid to train. Guys don't want to talk about doing this kind of thing, which pulls it away.
Ace, what do you think?
So what's your favorite type of training, I guess? We'll just go down the line real quick, like favorite type of training.
I'm in competition mode. I've been in that way for about 2 years.
Favorite type of training?
Probably just the tactical one.
Like what?
Tactical side of that. Well, I recently went to that class. So the active shooter one, the shoot, move, communicate, all that stuff. Just because I think our partners could benefit a lot from doing stuff like that. Just communicating with each other, because a lot of us don't talk, or you have some people do something one way or the other way, and I think if we're all on the same page, it'd help out, at least for the job.
Okay.
I'm jaded. I'm between the competition and the tactical. I like tactical because you can get communication, like he said, but I cannot tell you. It's a good feeling having somebody teach something new and then applying it and getting it. I really like that feeling.
Yeah.
I really like that feeling.
Jay, where you at? Because you're in a weird spot.
I like scenario-based training.
Scenario.
I like
a little
scenario
more
with
tactical side.
Scenario with UTMs or sim rounds.
Yeah, it's a little more tactical stuff because you're not doing scenario based training for competition.
No.
So you're more which is cool. Scenario is a lot of fun. I think for me, I think maybe that's where I'm at right now as far as the tactical world's concerned. I think that's my biggest thing is I've learned quite a bit as far as the tactical side of all the moving and stuff. So I'm like, well, I want to just shoot better now. But the scenario stuff is pretty fun. That is pretty cool when we've done a couple scenario stuff and you're hey, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Address from here and move on.
I like a full scenario start. I mean, that's what I like setting up is full scenario start to finish. Like, hey, this is what you got. You're going in there and then flip it around. Or
I mean, you've done that with last time we were at the range. You did a whole. I think for there's 10 people. You created a scenario for basically each one.
Yeah, a little hostage rescue. Because
you
see how each person performs.
Yeah, that was
surprisingly everyone did really great. And they all hit the target except for one person.
Rubio.
Joe Gunn.
Joe Gunn.
Shout out to Joe Whiskey, or as he's known on Xbox Live, I'm Grillin'.
We shoot right through the hostage around here.
Is that his
dude.
name?
It's I'm Grillin'. Joe Whiskey's Xbox.
He's a great grill. He knows how to grill. I'll give him that. He's a big charcoal guy. But anyways, yeah, scenario-based training. I like scenario-based training. I think it benefits a lot of people and a lot of whether it be civilian, cops, security, EP.
So
have you ever done an EP scenario?
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you ever done EP? What's the scenario like?
So it's especially this last event I just did. It's kind of being an enabler to whoever is the reaction team, because you have to understand it's a multifaceted operation at these big things. You have cops, you have Secret Service, for instance, like yesterday. Those guys are obviously going to take lead on every single thing that requires some sort of egress movement or ingress movement of other assets. Hey, we don't have enough guys. We need to get 20,000 more cops here. Well, if there's a bunch of guys in security suits running around, that we could be a threat. So they run scenarios all week prior. Hey, this is the game plan. Here's maybe a wristband, or here's something you can put on your sleeve.
Yeah.
Maybe, and this, you need to do this for this. And then they run it a training thing. Hey, okay, we have an active shooter at this location. Everybody go to their post and let's see what we're doing. And then they correct you. They debrief it. All right, you didn't put your thing on the right side, so you're fucking dead. So let's do that again. And we're going to change the scenario up. Now it needs to be, okay, no wristband. Everyone needs to be de-wristband, or take your suit jacket off. There's a bunch of different things that they do for multifaceted, especially when agencies are involved. They're super serious. They're so outranking when we do our
Yeah, because the threat could come from anywhere.
Anywhere. It could be one of us.
You might be a security guy, but they might have hired a crazy guy and he's doing security work.
Well, I think that's where that because for me, I've done the most of the stuff I've done is egress. You're doing your EP, you have your principal, and we'll run medical in it sometimes, and we'll just run egress of principal itself. So you'll come in, shots fire, whatever, figure out whatever your SOPs are, stand in front of your client, if you have multiple people, one person just takes control of the client. The other people are end up set up.
You guys wear
wall.
body armor, or
It all depends. It just depends on really what we're doing for like how high profile the client is, what the job itself is. Like, I mean, there are times I'm not wearing any body armor. I'm just sitting there because I'm not. They just want what they're really looking for is crowd control. They have no threats against them. They just want crowd control because people get crazy.
They do.
So like I ended up doing a red carpet event, and I did EP work for a pretty big name star it was an Apple thing. Mm-hmm. And the entire time was my whole goal was just to walk around with her.
Yeah.
She was taking photos on the steps and doing this and doing that.
Yeah.
And my whole goal was just to stand there and just basically be the person where if for whatever fucking weird reason, all of a sudden, Terminator popped up and wanted to kill her because she fucking ruined the world in fucking 20 years, or saves it, whatever you want to fucking look at it. My job was to make sure like I would be the first line of defense for her. Yeah. That was it. So I was like, so I'm like, I just stood there. I just fucking did nothing and it was boring as fuck. But that was the job. My job was to work with her the whole night. That's all I did.
Yeah.
So, but like we've done all sorts of different type of scenario stuff, but would you say, so if you were going to tell one person, hey, you need to get training, but let's say they can only go down one path, what path would you want them to go?
from like what kind of shooter are they? Like what kind of person?
Doesn't matter.
Like just a regular person?
It's a regular they can.
That's hard. That's
career
I'd
field,
just say pistol fundamentals.
career field can go in any path. They can be a police officer.
Learn how to hold that shit.
If you see
Glass.
this gun on the street, like if you see this random gun on the street, what are you going to do? Just going to pick it up like John Wick and be like, you know what? Yeah, it's ready to go. It's there's a round in the chamber. It's good. Well, you didn't press check it. You don't even know how many rounds are in it.
Yeah, but that's all fun. That's all fun. I'm talking about like if you're going to go in this standpoint of fundamentals or tactics, like would you want them to just have a basic, because assume both of them have fundamentals.
Okay.
So they have the fundamentals, a basic understanding of how a pistol works, safeties, all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Now do you want to go, hey, you need to learn how to be able to clear a room, but like the aspect of being able to shoot, like being a phenomenal shooter is not part of the picture. You're just doing scenario based stuff. Or do you want to go, hey, be a phenomenal shooter, but not be very good at being able, or have almost no understanding of being able to clear a room? Like, what would you say would be your, if you had to choose one of those, which one would it be?
Probably just a good shooter.
I agree.
Because I don't know if I'm working in some fucking Dan B. It's like, yo, give me your gun. I'm an off-duty police officer. That's great. I don't really give a fuck. Why don't you just go in the rear? Like, get out of the way.
That was awesome.
Be a good shooter somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, you're not in this thing that's going on that's happening. I appreciate it, but no. So I'd rather than be a good shooter. Like, if you're carrying, that's your CCW.
Yeah.
Be a great shooter away from whatever we got going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it makes sense. I get it.
I don't want some guy that's like a phenomenal room clearer, but misses all his shots, or I don't know.
Chris, what do you think? Like if you had, it's like if you had to choose one or the other for the general public, and it doesn't matter what their job is they can be a cop, they could be your partner tomorrow, right? You can go into work tomorrow and they'd be your partner, but you wouldn't know. But you have to make it.
And they all got their fundamentals on point.
Fundamentals is part of
grip, everything.
You have to know fundamentals to do either one. You have to. You can't do either one of those without having a fundamental base.
Well, if they had their fundamentals already, then I'd say be a good shooter.
Be a good shooter.
Yeah. Fundamentals number one. Like if you don't know how to pop your mag out.
That's said. Like you have to, in order to do performance shooting or tactical shooting, you have to have fundamentals.
Yeah.
You can't be expected to clear a room or do any kind of
You don't even know how to do like drop your
scenario
mag
based
out
stuff. You don't know the basics.
Yeah. If they know the basics, then yeah, good shooter.
So
Yeah.
Phil, you
I'd say tactical.
tactical?
I'd say
really?
tactical. It'd be nice to know, especially as a guy like me learning that still myself, trying to get proficient. It'd be nice to have somebody that was even better.
So would you say it's because as a fundamental shooter you have quote unquote enough skill to pull the trigger and you want them to have more tactical stuff?
Yeah,
Or
I think.
What's your thought on that?
You probably, like, for instance, like just simple shit like don't fucking stick your gun in the room before you get in there. Like like that kind of shit would probably get you killed before. Stuff
fair.
like that. Because now you just eviscerated the whole situation. You get pulled in a room, you get killed, and I'm still outside in the hallway. I'm like, well, fuck. Now my guy that's on the blue side is now dead, or I potentially have now this just escalated. we got to, something like that. I'd probably prefer somebody with a tactical knowledge if they're already, like you said, fundamentally squared away.
That's a fair point.
Well, you're wrong. So, anyways,
That's fair enough, man.
Well, when you're wrong, you're wrong.
I'll wear that.
It is what it is. Whatever.
I don't know. I think I like this. I'm actually kind of glad you had a different perspective on it, even though it's not the right
And it
one.
might come from a different place because maybe I'll speak for both of us. Like we're saying, like some guys, I'm a fucking great tactical shooter. I don't know that. I'd rather just get out of the way, dude.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. But if I see DJ rolling up, like, take the lead, dude. I'm right behind you.
Flown in.
Yeah, I'm just not even flown in, dude. Go.
Kill everybody.
I'll
dude.
set up the
Here you go.
containment, dude. There you go.
Here's my gun.
Craig head rolls up. Go ahead, dude. You got it.
You got this.
Yeah.
We believe in you.
DJ Cole roll up. Man, here's my gun, dude. Go to work, dude. Fuck,
Go
like
ahead,
I
man.
know, like, yeah,
Do what you got to
Did you
do.
say DJ Cole?
yeah. DJ Shipley Cole Fackley.
I was about to say, there's a guy I went to school with. His name is DJ Cole. He's in.
Oh,
That's one name,
one name.
His name is DJ. Last name Cole.
2 first names.
Ricky Bobby.
Where's he at now?
Ricky Bobby.
Tactical shooter?
He's in jail.
well,
Tactics were not point enough.
He's in jail.
Shout out to
25
that
to life.
Shout out to that
I don't know if
district
that
attorney.
long, but it ain't a short amount of time.
Yikes.
Shout out to that district attorney.
Yeah.
Sorry,
He's in jail.
Well, I mean, I don't really have any more much to tactical versus, I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously, I feel like I had the most to say about it, and I took up the majority of the time. So, if you guys have anything else, like any questions, anything you want to like,
Mike Glover's not hitting anything at 100
Oh
yards
my
from
God.
low ready. Just gonna fucking tell you right now. He's not passively
JV
hitting
team,
100
dude.
yards.
I'm sorry, we can't
Sorry,
throw
man.
grenades in houses. You know?
I was
Fuck.
scared.
damn it!
You don't got to be a
It's
Navy
Tony's
SEAL to
idol,
know
dude.
you're not doing that.
How dare you?
That's his idol.
Fuck, dude.
Mike
Different-
Glover and
yeah.
I go back. All right, we are homies.
He needs
He's
to
actually
go.
going to be the main star. At
You said he's going back.
I won't be there.
He's crazy. You said he needs to go
crazy.
back.
It's crazy.
You said you guys go. He needs to go back. He needs to go back to fucking training. Is what he needs to do.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm sure he's a
He has a
phenomenal
certain
shooter. I'm
wheelhouse
sure,
that
yeah.
he's a professional in.
He's got a certain wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
He knows how to run into a house, shoot dudes in the face
Murder
with
everybody.
no ROEs, and
Yeah.
just do whatever you have
With
to
no
do.
ROEs.
Just run in there, do what you have to
I will say that. Well, all jokes aside, I
To be fair, I don't have any ROEs.
do. Yeah.
I don't have a single one. To be fair, I don't
I have
like
laws
the,
against me.
I
But
don't
you're
like.
not on like a multi-million
Yeah.
fucking viewership saying
Yeah.
How do you know?
this is the right way.
How dare you?
Yeah.
All jokes aside,
Cops
I don't
are
like
not
the witch.
JV.
Yeah, I don't like the witch hunt. I don't like that culture.
The witch hunt culture.
Like, yeah, I don't like that. Like, yeah, he fucking clowned around saying that, but I don't like how people are like fucking coming for his neck because of it.
No, I think it's
Well, he said
honestly. I think it's
multiple
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's
I think
multi-faceted.
it's a good.
So you
thing
got to put
do
people in
because-
check, whether if he's fucking Delta or not. So you still got to hold people accountable for their
You
work.
can't.
Joe,
You
that
can't just. Here's a great example. Do you want to sticking on the training thing? Fucking what's his bullshit now? I can't even talk about him.
Oh, boy.
But, Mr. Dust. Fucking
Oh, Detroit.
Detroit urban survival training.
Oh, we saw him at shot.
Yeah, we did see him at shot.
You saw him at shot?
Dude, he had an entourage.
People,
Yeah, yeah,
do
entourage.
Pissed me off.
you see the videos of people fucking with him?
Yeah, but
Yeah, he had
but
a
think about that.
entourage.
Like, if no one ever called him out and just let it be, like, I guarantee you, he's way more popular now because of people calling him out.
Well,
but
that's-
at the same time, he's
All
also
publicity
been.
is good.
That's what I'm gonna say.
But he's also been like shown that he's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. But I
like-
think he knows that. I think he's very
That's what I was saying
cognizant.
when I saw
he
when
knows
we
what
saw
he's
him.
doing.
That's
Not
what I-
only, not only,
I think he thinks.
not
I
only-
think he thinks he's
no,
fucking
dude. The
hot
way
shit.
I seriously,
he's in our fucking head right now.
I-
we're talking about.
I know
He gets
exactly.
fucking
That was
more
the
views.
point. That was the point
He
I was
gets
gonna
more
make.
fucking
Him and his
views.
headset.
He has a
made
low,
it.
he has a low level podcast talking shit about him. I'm telling you, that guy.
Oh,
not only is
crazy.
he, not only is he
Wow.
that,
level. Huh?
How dare you?
go
I'm
fuck
a
myself.
fucking high echelon. of
moving
this
forward,
podcast.
I think he's not only is he very conscientious, the Detroit guy. I think he's looking. What's the next flagrant piece of material I can put on the
Flagrant.
internet? Like,
Yeah,
I
him
know,
and Mike go hand in hand.
That's his
great.
That's
Yeah,
his.
him and Mike are best friends.
Yeah. I think
Not
he
even
made
JV.
I think Glover made a fucking muff on. I think Joe had a bigger responsibility to correct him. Like, well, let's amend that. Stuff.
I'm
How is
surprised
Joe going to do any of that?
He could have been like, well, hold on,
He has
JV. What does that mean? Like, he could have fucking backed it down a little
Joe
bit.
doesn't know that though. Like Joe's a different wheelhouse too. Everyone has their own specialty.
Yeah.
He's got
if
a
he's
blue-
talking about fighting, sure.
Joe's
I'm
got a
sure
blue
Joe would've
lives-
said some shit.
Oh yeah,
about
if he
fighting.
went,
sticker
if
on
he
his
went in
truck.
off, well, that's.
But he didn't say anything on
I am
the
surprised
American
about the American
Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-Jitsu thing. He didn't say a single word because
Yeah.
Joe's been he's a black belt for a while in Jiu-Jitsu, and he would fucking ruin Mr. fucking.
Oh, he'd fold that
piece of
fool
shit.
up like a
He'd
pretzel, dude.
He wouldn't even have to, dude. He can fucking throw hands too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
dude can throw hands.
But I think like that's the nature of the show. He's like let these guys talk. That the audience doesn't want to hear obviously hit Joe's audience. They want to hear what Joe has to say, but he brings people on so they could talk.
Until
when you watch those podcasts and like the host is stepping all over the guy they bring, it's like the fuck.
Yeah.
I want to hear what this guy had to say. Why are you stepping all over him? So I think you just let him talk, let him do his thing, and Mike prevailed like he always does. Calls fucking cops not even JV, and he's never even been a cop. So it is what it is.
Yeah, let's go fuck himself.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But
Well, I think that's it. I think we'll end it on that fucking note.
Yeah.
Fuck Mike Glover.
Well, yeah, no, I would say fuck Mike Glover. I just say
see how he reeled it in? That's exactly what Joe should have done.
Well,
I like that. That is what you do.
He just doesn't know. He just doesn't know. He thinks he knows, but he doesn't. I'm sure he's got a million cop buddies, but it's like, just because I fucking read a book doesn't mean I'm a fucking doctor all of a sudden. It's like just because you have a million cop friends and he's trained a lot of cops doesn't mean he's been in that scenario.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't think any of us would ever speak on some shit Delta guys do.
Yeah.
Fuck
Like,
no.
I don't
Can you
fuck no.
imagine
Like,
that?
why would I do
I
that?
don't even like saying that term.
Oh, you guys cleared this house wrong, or you guys fucking killed these people wrong.
Yeah, watching
I've
fucking
been
GoPro
cleared.
footage,
Yeah,
like-
how I would usually clear a room.
Yeah.
is like
Yeah,
this.
I would never.
like-
Oh man,
I don't know why you're stepping over the threshold.
Yeah, just imagine us commenting on something we have nothing in common about. I mean, so what? He trains cops. Doesn't mean he's been a cop and knows how it is.
Yeah.
It's just a
Talking
completely
about
different realm.
Shooting people in the back of the head and shit. Like,
While they're running away.
yeah, state prison, federal.
You
prison,
can't
dude.
do that as a civilian. How do you justify that as a civilian? You can't.
That's some overseas shit.
Yeah, well,
that's
I
some
mean,
shit that I wouldn't talk about.
We could do it at our job.
exactly.
Obviously, there's certain things we could do, like
Yeah.
serial killer. If he
Mass
gets
murder.
away,
Mass shooter.
Yeah,
if
fucking
he gets away, he's
Ruby-
going to kill somebody else. Yes, we could shoot him in the back, no problem.
Chris
But
did it 2 weeks ago, dude.
in the spirit of the law.
Chris just went, oh! He said he was running.
How did you know he was going to do harm to others? I knew, man.
I just knew. I just knew. I saw the evil in his eyes.
All right, clear. Go back.
yeah, different strokes, different folks. He's speaking out of pocket.
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm confused.
I think that's the biggest problem. Is he opens his mouth about things that shouldn't be said. I was one of the guys that was triggered about the jiu-jitsu thing. I'm like, are you gonna be fucking?
See, he went down.
I
in
was
your,
triggered.
he went down in your
wheelhouse.
realm.
Yeah.
He went to your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
He talked shit, and you're like, what the fuck, Joe? Like, do
What are you
something.
talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah. And Joe should have said something for that one for sure. Like I was like, there's no way. There's no way you can talk about that. You would have no way. He's like, I've done grappling. I've done this and that in the military. It's like, cool, bro, but you didn't dedicate your life to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I've dedicated my last 5-6 years doing this to jiu-jitsu. Like that's what I've dedicated time, hours.
So you're saying you'd roll with Mike Glover?
I'd destroy that guy.
All right, there you go.
yes.
Hey,
I would
get out there,
destroy
man.
that
Mike
guy.
Glover.
The Jake Paul fights, dude. I like that. That's more medium.
Destroy that guy.
No, that's true though, because like they have special teams. They have dive teams. They have jump teams. They have a jujitsu.
But he can.
team.
He
They have
doesn't
a
have.
shooting
But they don't
team.
have a jiu-jitsu team. They have a combat team, which
Yeah.
they learn things that are really. I'm not saying they're not
No,
useful.
yeah, that's
but
what
he's
I'm
not
saying.
sitting there doing just pure
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Like to
Right,
talk
yeah.
about like.
That's what the combative guy.
Yeah,
he wasn't a
that's-
combative guy. Like he
Well,
didn't
he
have.
he said he taught combatives. I don't know his wheelhouse. Whatever it is, what it is, but
That's what I'm saying is the military divides it up. Like there's
It
a
just
team.
annoys the shit at me. Like there was shit that I was like, when Jay and I were in, we were out on the mat together a couple weeks ago, and there was some things that I just like, hey, like these are some pieces you can really utilize. Like being, like, are they 100% going to work for him every single time and be the best for his policy? Maybe not, but they are legitimate, useful things that he could use regardless of what the policy says. They're 100% usable and they will work to a certain extent. And how his department wants him to handle is totally different, but he's learned certain pieces that will actually help him.
I'm pretty much a black belt now after
is.
like one lesson
He
with
is,
him.
dude.
It was crazy. Yeah, thank you.
Wow,
Thank you for that. Yeah. Think of those three red stripes on my black
I
belt.
want to shake you.
Everyone else is JV, dude.
That's right.
Everyone else JV, dude. This
They're
guy,
not even JV.
JVJ baby.
jumped up the varsity.
JVJ.
I'm gonna change my handle, dude. That's right. I'll change my handle. All right. Well, I think we're done with the training. Unless you guys got anything.
No, I
else.
think I'm good.
We hit the nail on the head, dude. Fuck Mike Glover, and that's about it.
1-800.
When it comes to cops.
I think that's
1-800.
When it comes to talking about cops, fuck Mike Glover.
Look, when it comes to the end of it, I think we can all be on the basis of if you're gonna choose a training, just choose one. If you can do both, but get out there and train.
Sure.
Right? I would say that's a good way of
Period.
going about it. Just fucking train.
Yeah.
If you're gonna own a gun, if you're gonna be shooting, I don't care what your aspect of life is, even if you just walk around with a gun every once in a while. fucking train with it. Learn how to fucking use it.
100%.
Agree.
Very much agreed.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Phil, take us out. I've been talking way too much this episode.
Glad you said it, sir. Folks, thanks for coming by. Stand by. We're getting out of here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button. Leave some comments, man. Leave some comments. YouTube algorithm like people interact with us. So,
But you never
leave the
reply, so-
comments, and that's you're more PR savvy than I am.
I have more things to say.
But we appreciate you guys as always. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.